Some stories are not just meant to be heard. Some stories are not meant to entertain you. They are meant to wake you up, to make you realize that there are people who once lived deep at the bottom, who were poor, exhausted, hopeless, and still found a way to stand up again through the smallest choices. If today you feel trapped, living inside a tiny room of fear, procrastination, and fading faith, then do not skip this video, because this is not just the story of a poor man waking up at 5 a.m. It is the story of how a person who had almost given up on everything slowly pulled himself back to life. And sometimes what changes your life is not one big opportunity. It is simply the morning when you decide you will no longer keep living the same way. The man lived in a small room in an even smaller life. He was a poor man, living in an old rented room with peeling walls, a shaky bed, a small wooden table, and a cheap alarm clock that always ran a few minutes fast. Every day he worked heavy jobs with low pay, enough to survive, but never enough to escape. The scariest part was not being poor in money. It was being poor in hope. He had grown used to surviving, used to saying tomorrow, used to feeling like he would never truly get better. The dreams he once had kept shrinking. The future no longer looked like a road, it looked like fog. He did not suffer one huge collapse, he was simply sinking each day, slowly, quietly, and that made it even more dangerous. Rock bottom is not always loud. People often think hitting rock bottom is dramatic, but for him, the bottom came quietly. It was waking up late with a heavy chest, it was eating thoughtlessly, it was watching other people move forward and looking away because he did not want to think. It was promising himself things at night and breaking those promises every morning. He stopped being angry. He stopped feeling ashamed. And that was the most dangerous part. When a person gets used to mediocrity, gets used to living below what they know they could become, they no longer feel the need to fight. He did not lose everything in one night. He slowly lost respect for himself. And once that begins to wear away, life becomes dark very quickly. The first 5 a.m. morning was not beautiful. One night, after coming home exhausted, he could not sleep. Outside the window, the sky slowly began to brighten. The clock showed exactly 5 a.m. For the first time in a very long time, he did not pull the blanket over his head to hide a little longer. He just sat there watching the light come through the small window and felt something strange. The world was beginning again, and he was still standing still. That moment was not romantic, no soundtrack, no miracle, just the deep shame of realizing how many mornings he had wasted. And right there, he said one short sentence to himself, "Tomorrow I will wake up at 5. It sounded so small it was almost ridiculous, but many times life does not change through big promises. It changes through a tiny decision that gets taken seriously. 5 a.m. did not save him immediately. It taught him to save himself. On the first morning he woke up at 5, he felt exhausted. On the second morning too. On the third, he wanted to quit even more. But he still sat at the table on time, drank a cheap glass of water, wrote down what he needed to do, read a few pages from an old book, then walked a short distance before work. Nothing great happened. He was still poor, still tired, still living in the same old room. But one thing began to change. He no longer hated himself the way he used to, because for the first time in a long time he kept a promise to himself. 5 a.m. did not bring him money right away. It did not make him a new man overnight, but it gave him back the most important thing he needed to rise. The feeling that he still had control over one small part of his life. From 5 a.m., he began to see life differently. Before this, he thought life was something that happened to him. If luck came, he would improve. If someone helped him, he could escape. But those 5 a.m. mornings taught him something else. Life is also built by the small things you repeat every single day. The way you wake up, the way you spend your first hour, the way you speak to yourself when nobody is there. He started learning new skills in the morning. He started tracking his spending. He started planning more clearly. He started understanding what it meant to finish something before complaining about being tired. And when his mornings changed, the rest of his day began to change too. Not fast, but enough to show him that he was no longer drifting. He still had days when he wanted to quit. Do not imagine that life became easy after that. There were still mornings when he shut off the alarm and lay there a little longer. There were still days when he came home so exhausted he wanted to forget every effort he had made. There were still moments when he asked himself, why wake up this early when money is still low? Life is still hard, and nobody is applauding me. But the difference was that he no longer treated one bad day as a reason to return to his old life. He understood that rising again does not mean never being weak. It means being weak and still coming back. It means slipping, but not turning one morning into 1 month. And that is what made him stronger. Not because he was special, but because he no longer abandoned himself as easily as before. People didn't see success yet, but they saw the change. After a while, his money had not increased dramatically. He had not become successful overnight. But other people started to notice that something was different. His eyes no longer looked empty. His voice carried more strength. The way he sat and walked had changed. He no longer lived like a man waiting for a miracle. He started taking extra work, learning more skills, and most importantly, he stopped betraying himself in the smallest things. Life is strange. People usually only notice big results, but before success appears, presence changes first. And that was the first gift 5 a.m. gave him. Not instant wealth, but life returning to a man who had almost gone dark inside. From the bottom to rising again is not really a story about time. It is a story about character. Many people will look at this story and say, the secret is simply waking up at 5 a.m. But no, 5 a.m. was only the door. What truly changed him was becoming the kind of person who keeps his word to himself. A person who chooses what is right over what is easy. A person who keeps moving even before results appear. That is what pulled him out of the pit. Not because life suddenly became fair, but because he stopped living like someone who had already quit. He realized that poverty is not only a lack of money. There is a more dangerous kind of poverty. Poverty of discipline, poverty of faith, poverty of courage. And when he began growing rich in those 3 things, money and opportunity finally had a place to enter his life. If you are at the bottom, do not underestimate one morning. If today you are tired, poor, lost, or feel like you have lived too long in a life that no longer makes you proud, then do not underestimate one morning. Maybe you cannot change your whole life at once, but you can change your first hour. And sometimes one first hour lived seriously can pull a whole day, then a week, then an entirely different person behind it. This story is not telling you to become someone huge immediately. It is simply reminding you that the road from the bottom to rising again always begins with one very small decision, repeated long enough. If this video spoke to you, come back to this channel. Maybe the next video will be another morning that helps your life turn in a new direction. If you enjoyed this, please click the subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate a like and a subscription to support the channel and help you catch even more great videos in the future. Thank you so much.